G'day, how's it going? I hope you've got yourself a nice cup of tea or coffee with you. We can sit down now and take the DJI Ronin-s and the Sony A7S Mark II here and put them together. I'm going to be showing you how to balance the camera on the Ronin-s. Hey there, thanks for popping along. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and all of that neat stuff, the like, and leave any questions you've got from this in the comments below and I will get back to them. Okay, let's have a look at the Ronin here. We're going to put that together and then mount the Sony A7S Mark II on it with the 35mm Zeiss lens that I've got here. Awesome lens, by the way. And I'll show you quickly how to properly balance the Ronin-s so that it's not fighting with you when you're trying to use it for filming. Okay, let's start by getting the Ronin out of the box. Pretty easy thing to do. First thing you want to start with is the handle extension and stand thing. It's a great little piece. It just unfolds like that and gives you some feet for the Ronin to stand on while you're doing the setup. And it helps you keep the Ronin really stable when you're using it as well. The next bit is the battery grip. This is the powerhouse of the Ronin. It's got all the power in there. On this side down here there's a few LEDs and a little on button that turns the power on for the power brick and the handle. Okay, it's got a 1/4 inch thread on the bottom of it, standard tripod-y thing, and that's, funnily enough, that one's got one on here as well. So we'll put those together, spin that on, and there you go, nice solid foundation for you to stand the whole setup on. This thing here has also got connectors on top which go into the gimbal itself, which is what I will pull out next. Here we go, pulling the gimbal out of the case. These are all a really nice snug fit in the box. Here's the gimbal itself. As you can see, it's your 3 motors here, here, and here, and the controls. And on the base plate of that there, it's got the matching connectors for the handle. So I'll just slide that into there, just like that. And then pull this lever here back, and that locks it onto the battery grip. And that's all ready to go now. So all I need to do now is mount the base plate here onto the camera, and it's got a little arrow at the front of it which tells you which end goes to the front. So I'll do that. The reason it's directional is that there are centimetre measures up along the side of the plate. Up along there you can see, so you can write that down for each camera you've got and remember the measurements so that it makes it even quicker for setting up next time. Okay, once you've got that on, this just slides straight into the quick release plate here on the Ronin itself. Just slide that backwards in there and it clicks in, and once you've got it pretty much in place, just pull this little handle here on the front forward, and that locks the plate into the quick release base. Okay, there you go, that's the first bit of that setup. So now what we want to do is balance the camera on the 3 motors. Now the first part of that is setting it up so that your pitch, your horizontal balance is right. As you can see at the moment, the camera is leaning right over that way. So what I need to do there is undo this little screw at the back here on the back motor and just push that slightly across, just slowly across, and each time I do, you'll see that the camera is getting more and more centered. If you go too far, it's going to go over the other way. So just nudge it gently through a little bit until it's pretty much flat. There we go. That's looking pretty good right there. So I'll lock that off, and then if you just knock it around a little bit, it should go pretty much back to center. At the moment, the whole gimbal's unpowered, by the way. Always do this with it unpowered. Okay, so the next bit is setting the camera vertical alignment up. Okay, so for this, I'm going to need to make sure that I've got everything on here. So I will quickly just put the camera, the lens here, sorry, onto the camera. I know some cameras you do kind of mount onto the lens, but that's not what we're putting in here today. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just move this here. I'll undo this latch again a little bit, and just going to move this back and forward just a small fraction, because it's actually pretty close. If you come too far forward, as you can see, it pitches down. If you come too far back, it pitches up. What you want to do is get right in the middle there, so that the camera is nice and vertical. There we go, and then just lock that off again. Once I put the lens on, it's changed the tilt on it a little bit, so I'm just going to bring that across just a couple of millimeters until I've got that tilt back on even. There we are. And then finally we've got the camera itself here. You want balance so that it's not hanging pendulously down the bottom. So what we'll do is I'll unlock this final one here, and I'm just going to lift that right up and see how far off that is. Now this is a small camera, so it sits very low on the gimbal, and as you can see, it's always going to pitch forward. I've got that up as high as it can go. What you can do if you want to, if you've got a heavy camera that sits low, is that you can get a riser in here that lifts that up a little bit so that it will center properly that way. I don't have one of those here with me at the moment, but if I had a battery grip on there, that would work, that sort of thing as well. So at the moment, I'm just going to leave that as is. That's a very lightweight camera, so it's not going to put too much stress on this motor to keep that even, and I'm not tilting that up too high anyway. As I've lifted that higher, that's put the tilt off balance again, so I will just nudge that across very slightly, and there you go, that's correct again there. So there we go, that's pretty much set up. Nice and easy. You know, you might also want to just move this one here back a little bit as well until it's about centered. And there you go. That's how easy it is to put a camera onto the Ronin-s and balance it up. It's pretty straightforward. Anyway, that one there can nudge forward a little bit more. So now just to test that that's all set up right and good, I will just turn the power on down on the bottom of the battery grip that we looked at before. There you go, that's now on. The gimbal's power sits here, so I'll just push that in, and the lights will come up and tells me that that's running, that little ding, and as you can see, the gimbal and camera balance themselves up and straighten themselves out straight away like that, very nicely indeed. And there you go, you've got one nicely set up, balanced and ready to go Ronin-s. That's all ready now to take out and shoot with. As you can see, it's all staying nice and stable when you move it around. It's exactly what you want. Okay, so I hope that's been a quick but useful video for you. There are a couple more videos about things I've been up to just here and here. Hopefully those will be good for you, so click on one of those and go and have a look. And also don't forget to click down here and subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss any more of these videos that I've got coming up in the future. Right, and I will see you shortly.